What is meta? That's the question you have every time you come back to DC. After taking a 6-month long break, a year, 3 year, hey, the possibility is endless. There's always a time when new stuff comes out and something is being the best. It's being overly used. That's what the meta is, and that's what I'm gonna get into it. In this video, we're gonna be going over DPSs. DPS meta can refrain from a lot of things. Your tactical mods, it goes from your allies you use, the artifacts you use, the even being the power you use, and little to, you know what I'm saying, what you may not think. It makes a big difference. That would have to be your system. Now, I'm not gonna lie, if you have a PS5 or you have a PC, if it's able to run DC, you are in for a treat. And we right around the corner from 10K, so look, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button so you never miss upload, hit the notification bell, and look, my Twitter and my Twitch is in the link in the description. Hit both of them so you know when I'm live. Twitter, I'll tweet it out. Twitch so you get that notification bell. Hey, hope y'all both enjoy this video. All right, so let's get into these tactical mods. Now, tactical mods have been in the game forever, and I've seen a lot of DPSs use many things, but I'm gonna go into the meta tactical mods that don't ever change. It don't matter what power you are, you're most likely gonna have the same tactical mods, all right? So I know for one, the pieces that you don't have to worry about for the most part is your legs. This leg piece is the one tactical mod that you can change to anything. It don't really matter. It's not gonna affect your damage at all. But for your weapon, you will always use blast adapter. If you are a might DPS, you will be using escalating might. If you're a precision DPS, you'll be using escalating precision in your neck mod. That is just plain flat out what it is. You know what I'm saying? You got your hands. Max damage for every power. It don't matter what power you is, max damage unless you are gadgets and mental. Gadgets and mental have a move inside of their loadouts called stealth, and you will be using improved stealth so you don't take damage when you go inside of that. So improved stealth is only be used for gadgets and mental because, you know, they need their max damage. You know what I'm saying? That's their version of max damage. You know what I'm saying? Going to stealth, popping a whole nother fucking loadout power. Hopping a whole nother loadout of power. Let's keep going. Your leg mod, I mean your feet mod. Your feet mod is dashing combos. Now this, Whirling Dervish is probably in about 90% of all melee loadouts. You know what I'm saying? Probably if you're ice, you know what I'm saying? Even I see some ice DPSs using Whirling Dervish. I see some earth DPS using Whirling Dervish. So Whirling Dervish is the move, and dashing combos just help you get more damage out of it because once your Whirling Dervish is done, you can tap square and get an extra damage hit off of it. So dashing combos is always the move. Your chest mod. Chest mod is penetrating strikes. Do not ever change this to core strength. You always want to get that ignore 2% defense and toughness, and that's just that. It has been tested multiple times, and that it is very better. Now, you do have your head mod. Your head mod, this is what I say. This is what I say to the DPS especially. The supercharge you pop the most is the one you pop in there. So as for Earth, I pop Intome a lot. So I'm going to put supercharged Intome. Let me get the Intome back, baby. If I'm Rage, I'm popping supercharged Berserk. I'm going to put that head mod in there so I get Berserk back faster. You have powers like Electricity. If I'm Electricity, I'm going to use supercharged Circuit Breaker. So every time I pop Circuit Breaker, I get a supercharge back. You know what I'm saying? I mean that for that supercharge exactly. So I would say use it for the power you use the most. I know for gadget DPS, you know what I'm saying, some in-game players like to switch it up instead of them using supercharged Neo Venom because that's what most powers use, because most powers do not have their own supercharge that's hit hard, or it doesn't have a self buff like Electricity that buffs your damage, like Rage that just does crazy damage, Earth crazy damage. You know what I'm saying? Most powers like Water, Mental, they use Neo Venom Boost, so you'll be probably using supercharged Neo Venom Boost. And for gadgets, you could use that too, but I know most gadget DPSs use the critical head mod. They use the critical head mod, critical battle display, and that just helps you get a 2% critical strike chance once you pop battle display. Now that's what I've seen gadget DPSs use it for. Any other power, they have definitely had their head mod set as the most supercharged they pop. Now your back mod, this could definitely vary. I know for Rage, they have accelerated Berserk, so that just makes sure your supercharge gets off a cooldown faster. I know Gadgets has accelerated battle display, so your precision buff gets off cooldown faster. And I know for Earth, I have accelerated Unstoppable. This is just so my supercharge generator could, you know what I'm saying, get off a cooldown faster, and then I can pop it and get more supercharges theoretically over time. And hey, it's just really broken. Now, the ones that don't change, like I said, feet mod, dashing combos all the way. Hands, max damage. If you're any other power, I mean, if you're gadgets or mental, you have improved stealth. Your head mod, supercharges you pop the most, probably most likely Neo Venom Boost if you're not, you know what I'm saying, a power that has their own supercharge that hits hard. You know what I'm saying? Your weapon is definitely going to be Blast Adapter, neck mod, might DPS, escalating might, precision DPS, escalating precision. Your chest mod, always penetrating strikes. Your leg mod, go to town with this. They only have 3 for any power you are anyway, and it's not really that game changing for your damage. Your back mod, this could vary it. It definitely have some combos that could combo with your head mod. So like I said, accelerate unstoppable with my supercharge generator, and it's going to help my head mod so I can get more superchargers. So they definitely have what and what, where the back and the head could, correspondingly help each other. Because like I said, Gadgets does have critical battle display for the head mod, and has accelerated battle display for the back mod. So it definitely variants, and it's what you want to use. Now let's get into the meta artifacts and why people just don't switch. All right, so I had to think about how I want to do this part of the video. Artifacts is definitely, I wouldn't say it's a controversial topic, but people are stuck in their ways, and they might want to use what they want to use. But as me playing DC as a DPS for the longest, I know what is meta, and I know what is being overly used, all right? So these artifacts right here, your transformation card, overly used. You'll see our DPS using this bitch either he's might or precision. If they're a pet builds are not meta, so I won't be going over any pet artifacts right now. You know, they do have new artifacts like the Matrix that come out, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's valid. But that will be tying into what I say about your system, your PS5 or a PC. And you would need one of these if you want an artifact swap. And I'll get into that a little bit after I go into the artifacts. Now, you do have the transformation card. This buffs your crit. This is something it's a must-have. You got the Eye of Gemini. Everybody's using this for elite content, regular content. It gives you free damage. Why wouldn't you take it? You got the strategist card. Strategist card helps you get more crits on top of the crit that you already have. And it's been meta for a long time. Solar Amplifier is another artifact that's been in multiple loadouts. If you're hitting from a range at single target, Heat Vision is your #1 baby. You know what I'm saying? And Solar Amplifier amplifies Heat Vision times 10. So you always going to run this if you're in single target mode, hitting from a range. Solar Amplifier is the go. You have other artifacts such as Scrapper Soul Cloak. You'll see DPSs run this like Transformation Card, EOG, and Scrapper Soul Cloak. If you're a rage DPS running this from regular content, so you get supercharges faster. Every time you have a supercharge, you get supercharged back. And then once you pop a supercharge, you get basically a set of free damage. So you know what I'm saying? You have artifacts that tie what and what. You have basically artifact meta setups. You know what I'm saying? You have Transformation EOG, Scrapper Soul Cloak. You got Transformation EOG, Lenara's Amulet. The Lenara Amulet is another artifact that's in meta if you're a might DPS. It helps your might go substantially high. If my shit is at 159k, I would be at least 220k might once I get fully stacked up with my amulet. These are artifacts that help you a lot on a daily basis. Now the ones that I'm saying is meta, your strategist card definitely is still in meta. Your Soul Amplifier definitely still is in meta. Transformation card, Eye of Gemini. If you're a might DPS, the amulet is definitely in your way. You know what I'm saying? Now you see DPSs like electricity DPS, they might go into a raid with a transformation card, an EOG, and maybe a strategist card. Now this is where it plays into why the artifact swapping. Different DPSs swap different things. Like maybe they want to pop a supply drop, and they have other artifacts such as Philosopher's Stone. Pop it in, go back to the inventory, and go back to DPSing like you just were. You know what I'm saying? Or you come in, pop Scrapper Soul Cloak, pop your supercharge so you can get more supercharge back, and it'll cost less. And then you just go back, pop it again. I mean, after you pop your supercharge, go back in your inventory and put on your DPS artifact and get the DPS in again. When you have a PS5 or a PC, it amplifies your artifact play a lot. And more artifacts come into meta. Like Philosopher's Stone is a artifact swapping artifact. Scrapper Soul Cloak is really an artifact swapping artifact. They artifact swap more as of now. And that's really it. You have the artifacts such as Dead King Scepter, but I'm not going to say that's meta because it's not really going to change what you know. So like, I'm not going to say it's not going to change because the Orbital Strike does do damage on the leaderboards. If you have a PS5 or a good PC that's running DC and you can run your inventory back and forth many times in a raid, go ahead, bro. But for the most part, what meta is your transformation card, your EOG, your strategist card, your Solar Amplifier, and your Lenara's Amulet with a Scrapper Soul Cloak. These are your main DPS artifacts, and you don't see any DPS using anything else. You have a good 3 of them. You have 6 of them. Scrap, Amulet, Solar, Trans, Eye of Gemini, and strategist card. You will see most DPSs using all these 3. If you're a precision DPS, you're probably using the same exact thing, except for you just not using your Lenara's and Solar Amplifier. You're probably just using transformation card, EOG, strategist card, and probably swapping it out for Scrapper Soul Cloak. Or since you know what I'm saying, Venomous Dispenser just got buffed, you probably artifact swapping Venomous Dispenser. Now, that is what the meta artifacts is. You won't see any DPS using any other things. I've seen a lot of pet builds. Pet builds are not the wave. I'm sorry to say, meta is meta, and I can't change it. I've seen a lot of pet DPSs try to, you know what I'm saying, be top. Yeah, you could probably do it, you know what I'm saying, but what you see everybody using is what I just showed you. Now let's get into these powers. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show y'all about some gadgets DPS gameplay, gadgets position DPS gameplay at that. So I just want to say, as you see the gameplay, even though gadgets was nerfed, gadgets are still a meta power. I don't care what you're doing. It don't matter what raid. Even though this power was nerfed, if you go into a raid today, if you go in SM tomorrow, you will see a gadget DPS most likely in there. Gadgets is just too strong. You know what I'm saying? The amount of damage you can get in such a short time is just ridiculous. Now, I'm going to go over the most, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to go over the top 5 DPS powers. It'll be real quick. It's not going to be that hard. You know what I'm saying? Because most powers are very identical, and it has been like this for a minute now. Now, after, you know what I'm saying, we got some new gear, and I'm starting to see Earth do some crazy numbers. You know what I'm saying? It probably could compete with Earth, gadgets after the nerf. You know what I'm saying? But who's to say? You know what I'm saying? I'll upload a DPS comps and we'll get into it. But let's get into these top 5 powers. I ain't gonna lie. So number 1, until I see something different, even though it was nerfed, I'm not tripping. I'm going to have to say gadgets DPS, but I just want to be different a little bit. Since gadgets was nerfed, I'm going to be fair. I'm going to put electricity at top. Since gadgets was nerfed, I'm going to put electricity at top because a circuit breaker is going crazy. If you have an EOG spamming healer, not just 1 but 2, and your tank is just somewhat spamming EOG, you're in for a fucking ride. I'm talking about you're going to kill the DPSs in there. Electricity, precision, electricity might, it's up there, but I'm going to definitely say electricity precision is definitely number 1 for your damage wise. Number 2, I'm definitely going to go with gadgets precision. Gadget precision is definitely up there. I will say their might side is what and what too, so you might as well put gadget precision right where gadgets might is. So you have electricity precision at the top, you have gadget precision second. We're gonna go for the third power, which is rage. Rage is definitely identical to electricity. If you're able to melee these ads, if you're able to melee the boss, you will be doing so much more damage. So much more damage because Berserk, you need to be up close to the boss, and Berserk hits the same thing like Circuit Breaker. It's just that with Circuit Breaker you can hit from a range. With Berserk you have to go up and close to the boss, and you got to get to fight him. So you know what I'm saying? It's definitely different. So you got electricity, you got gadgets, you got rage. Rage is bait. And now from here, I'm going to definitely not skip over munitions. Munitions have been a slept on power, but when you see munitions DPS, don't trip, bro. They probably know what they're doing. It's slept on, but it's definitely a strong power, and I'm not even tripping. When you see munitions DPS, they definitely do have some good single target, good AoE. Good AoE damage. They're just overall just like balance wise. So munitions definitely on the list. And since the last power, I'm gonna go with mental. If you use mental in the right hands, it could be over munitions, because munitions is identical. It's almost identical to gadgets, and you know what I'm saying, with the improved stuff having a whole other set of loadouts. So that's what I'm putting up there. You do have ice being buffed with the ice elemental, and I've done some crazy shit with ice versus some gadget DPS and some electricity DPSs. But for now, what I'm seeing meta is the electricity DPSs, the gadget DPSs. You definitely have some munition DPSs that are slept on. If you have some rage, some melee content, you're gonna see a rage DPS. You're gonna see me as rage. It's just a fact, cause like, who doesn't love a good melee? Who doesn't love that? And you definitely have munitions being up there, and you have mental. These are just good powers that you would most likely see. You're not about to see a water DPS. You have fire DPSs a lot, but you don't really see them as much as you see the other DPSs. And that's just why I get that point across. All right, so look, allies have been in the game for maybe less than a year. So I'm gonna get into the ones that come out. Now they're gonna keep coming out with allies, but as of right now, these are the ones that's meta. For a fact, you definitely would want to use for your AoE specifically. Superman or Bombshell Harlequin is definitely your combat ally for it, you know what I'm saying, what you're going to be hitting for AoE. Single target wise, Crypto is the number 1. If you don't have Crypto, House of Legends bot is easy. That's for your single target for AoE, like I just said. Superman, or you can use Cyborg. I'm using Cyborg because I'm cheap. I don't have enough money for Superman. So let's get into the ones that's going to change your DPS. I mean, of course, the combat allies add damage to the boards, but You support allies, they do some crazy shit. Now, let's get into it. So, for a fact, we use Batman Who Laughs for support ability. We use support ability 1, Luck of the Draw. Now, while in combat, receive a random beneficial card from Batman Who Laughs. Now, this combat, this combat ally, this could arrange for different things. It could be a might buff. It could be. I'm trying to get into it real quick. Trying to get into it, but DC is definitely crazy the way they got this set up. So, I got see. Look, I don't know why it's doing that. I'm trying to read it for you. Okay, so boom. So basically, Luck of the Draw, you have different cards. You have a Batman card that increases your might and your precision. You have another Fricker card that increases critical chance. And you have another one where it says 7% max health. You have a 12.5 second duration of this buff. So for 12 seconds, you have increased might. Or 12 seconds, you have increased critical chance. You have a 3% critical chance. At rank 10, it's definitely nutty because all these things go up. You have 20-second duration on these buffs. You have a 10% max health, 30% power regeneration, 7.5 critical chance on top of the card you just pulled, and 5% to all stats. Now, Batman Who Laughs is your bread and butter for a gadget or precision DPS if you're AoE or single target. This is your ally you want to use for DPS. I don't care which else you're using. This is a passive might buff, a passive precision buff that's gonna come back to you, and you're gonna love it for this. This one helps you. When I came back to the game, I was getting smoked, and I seen these people wear this. When I got mine up, I started to not get smoked. Of course, it's only ranked 7 out of 10, but it helped me. From 0, yeah, I was still getting smoked, but when it got to 7, I saw a difference. And this is what most DPSs use. Now, you do have Superman. Now, I said Superman, Aquaman. Now, Aquaman, I use him differently. For my AoE loadout, I definitely use his second passive ability that does Hear My Call. Upon a player taking damage, increases baseline DPS for all summon pets. Like I said, pets are not meta. So what you're going to want to use is Seaside Restart. Seaside Restart is extremely strong, and this will make a big difference on the boards for your DPS wise too, and for damage on the boss. So Seaside Restart. Using a supercharge ability reduces the combat ability's cooldown rate. All right. If you use a 2K supercharge, it's 3 seconds. A 5K supercharge, 4 seconds, and a 10K supercharge, 13 seconds. But listen to this, mine is not 10. So at rank 10, at 2.5K supercharge, it gives 5 seconds. A 5K supercharge gives 7.5 seconds. And a 10K supercharge is 15 seconds off of your ally. Now, the reason you would want to keep popping your supercharge and get your ally back because your ally adds damage to the boards. If you're on single target doing strictly single target damage and you call out let's just say all the DPSs call out their allies at the same time and I have mine rank 10. Once I, get in the groove, because superchargers and iGemini is meta, right? I just said that with the artifacts. So you're going to be spamming a lot of superchargers. So basically, your ally, your combat ally will come off a cooldown faster and you'll be able to call him out again to, do more damage, basically. Do more damage to the boss, do more damage for the boss, however you want to look at it. So Aquaman, the Seaside Restart definitely plays what and what to your Eye Gemini, to the healers being an EOG spamming, trying to get as many supercharges out as possible. Because once you pop your supercharge, it's going to take the cooldown off your ally second by second, and you can be able to call it out faster. Now, this one was another ally that until I got it ranked up, I saw the difference. Because, boom, at the beginning of the boss fight, we both pop our allies. But I see you pop your ally again. We popped the same amount of supercharges. We've been doing the same thing. But you popped the more supercharges at yours at rank 10, so you're getting more seconds called off of yours. So boom, you call out your ally more frequently, more times than me in a raid, which will be more damage on the boards. You might call out your ally 10 times in a raid. I might call it out 5, just because off of Aquaman, and he's restarting your ally. These are your meta allies. I don't care what you're running for your combat ally, even though I recommend you use Superman for AoE or Bombshell Harley Quinn, or for single target, Crypto or House of Legends bot. Both for your support allies, 1 and 2, Emperor Aquaman, Seaside Restart, and Batman Who Laughs, Luck of the Draw is the metaphor DPS. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I hope y'all boys enjoyed this video. Share this video with your friends, your league mates, your DPSs for a fact. Hit the like button. We're trying to get to 100 likes on this video. Subscribe if you're new. We're trying to hit the 10K. We almost around the corner. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. We're going to be going crazy until we hit that 10K. And so once we hit that 10K, we're going to be still going after that. My Twitch is in the description. Twitter is in the description too. And I hope y'all boys enjoyed this video, man. I try my best to help y'all boys understand what meta is. If you're a returning player, definitely go down in the comments and I'll try to answer your questions as best as possible. Hope y'all boys enjoy.